Hey guys, Eric at SoCal Cigars here. I'm going to make a video today on my cigar cooler humidor. So, two reasons I'm doing this. One is because when I first wanted to get one of these things, I tried to find some reviews for basically quality, should I get one? And another big reason was how to set this thing up and make sure there was any kind of things I should know ahead of time. And what I found was mostly videos that were basically just from like the companies themselves saying, yeah, these things are awesome, you should buy one. Or they were videos that very quickly went out of the range of helpful to the range of, hey, look at my awesome cigar collection, which is not why I was watching the video. I wanted to see more about the actual cooler itself than your impressive cigar collection. So I figured I'm going to make this to help you out and actually worry a whole lot less about the cigars I have and more about the actual cigar container that I have them in. So that's kind of the whole point here. There's really two brands out there that you hear a lot about. One's Whitener and one is New Air. You'll always hear pluses and minuses on both sides. You know, no, this is better. No, that's better. No, this one's better. What I've heard is sort of irrelevant, I think. My opinion is these are all produced in China. They're all the same case. All that really ends up happening is you either get a Whitener or a New Air label stuck on the bottom. So for me, really what it came down to was price, size, features, things like that. So let's start with what I got. So I ended up getting the Whitener for a couple reasons. I'll tell you that in a minute. What I got was the larger of the two, which is the CHC251S. That's the 400 count versus the other model, the 120S, is the 200 count. I would highly recommend getting the bigger one because you will very quickly grow out of the smaller one. What it comes with ultimately is just a couple things besides the winer door itself. It comes with this little container, which has got two little brackets to hold it on one of the shelves. This is for your humidification. This could be either distilled water, from what they say, or it could be like the different gel beads you see, like Humidor, the clear or blue ones. I tried several methods, and I will get into what I ended up doing in the end because that's one of the main reasons I'm doing this. Also comes with two of these, which I thought was odd. It came with two of them. These are the hygrometers that are crappy, that usually come free with everything. They tend to not be all that accurate, except for some reason the second one that it came with seems to be fairly accurate. So I kept it in there. Plus it plugs up what would be a big hole in the drawer if I didn't keep that in there. In the end, what you'll really need for what I'm going to talk about is distilled water and a spritz bottle. So let's start from the outside and work our way in. Size-wise, it's about the same size as a typical little cooler refrigerator you get like at work to keep Cokes and sodas and waters in, your lunch, whatever. So it's not very big. It's easy to kind of put anywhere in your house for the most part. This is basically stainless steel on the outside, double pane glass, it looks like, on the inside. And then in this one versus I think the New Air actually comes with a handle. The other one you have to grab the side and pull it open, which I wasn't happy with that. I like this better, having an actual handle that you have to attach when you get it. I did go and purchase two pieces of laminated shelving at Home Depot, so this had a better place to sit and more stable than just carpeting. Up here, you'll notice it's got the little interface panel that's showing you the current temperature of inside the unit, and it's giving you an up and down arrow for the temperature controls and a light on and off button. It states inside the manual that it goes from 50 to 66 degrees, but it actually goes 54 is the lowest, and it goes up to 66. There's no reason to go any lower than 66 in my opinion, because even at that rate, it's always somewhere between like 65 and 70. So just maxing it out at 66 seems to work just fine. Here's a little pro tip for you. If you lose power like I did about 3 weeks ago, when your power comes back on and this thing turns itself back on, it's going to start at 54. So you're going to want to come and push the up arrow so that you can get this thing back up to 66, or your refrigerator will become too cold for your cigars. Here we can look at the light. As you can see, it's just a light at the top. It's kind of worthless. It never really gets past the first tray, even in the dark. So it's there, but it doesn't seem to be very functional. It would have probably been better if it had like LED lighting like all around or something, but it doesn't. So let's open this up, and the first thing we're going to notice is it does have a nice hefty seal like you have on your refrigerator that you keep your food in. And that's why this unit seals up so well against a nice clean flat surface up here. One thing you're going to notice about where you're going to put this thing in your house is that if you had a wall right here, see I've got a blue wall over there. If I had this unit right up against the wall and I could only open the door part way, here's the issue I'm going to run into. The drawer is going to hit that gasket. Okay, so wherever you put this thing, you're going to need to be able to open it all the way up to where you've got like a 90 degree so that you can pull the drawer all the way out. Okay, so keep that in mind. The unit does come with 4 of these trays. These are Spanish cedar trays. And it comes with 2 drawers. The good thing is there's slots built in all the way up and down the unit so that you can put them in whatever position or configuration works for you. I will tell you that I originally put all of these boxed cigars at the bottom and all the stuff was moved up. What I found is that the fan in the back of this unit that runs pretty much all the time blows over your cigars, and it was pulling the humidity out of them pretty quickly, and I found it a little more hard to stabilize everything. So what I ended up doing was moving the boxes off the bottom, and I put them up in the middle, and that way it's sort of blocking that fan. And I'll show you a picture of the fan that's in the back there. It's basically, if you just take the vent cover off, it's just a CPU fan like you find in your computer, but it's running all the time, and so that does help pull some humidity when it's running over your cigars. So here's something I wish I had been able to find in a video before I bought this thing, is that it takes a while for this thing to stabilize. So when you first set this thing up, it could take you anywhere from 3+ weeks to get this humidity and temperature to kind of become really stable. I think part of that is because this thing is primarily glass and plastic. So all of this is plastic, and so what we're used to is our desktop humidors, where the whole thing on the inside is the Spanish cedar. You're not getting that here. You're getting a lot of plastic, and all you're getting is the cedar that's on these drawers and shelves. The cedar does play a role besides pest control and the aroma it gives off. It also is part of the humidification, where it can suck in and push out the moisture in the air. So you're getting a lot less of that. So that's why I think this thing took longer to stabilize. So if you're getting frustrated like I was, don't worry about it. Just let time pass, and this thing will become stable eventually. But that's, like I said, that's something I wish I had known prior to buying this thing, and that's why I was searching out videos because I was getting really frustrated thinking, what am I doing wrong here? And I think it's just because there's so much plastic. It just takes more time to get this thing to stabilize. So so the other thing I was going to point out to you is that, the drawers are obviously awesome. This is my infused drawer. So these are all infused cigars. You can see it's about 4 layers deep. So the cigars don't really go anywhere. This is a non-infused drawer. But again, you can see, I can move this around and the cigars just sit there nice. The problem I found is with these drawers, when you pull them out and you just had loose cigars on there, they would roll around and sometimes they would fall off on the ground and ram into each other and stuff. So what I kind of decided to do was to go over to like the 99-cent store and just get some of these Tupperware containers to put them in. So that way you can just pull them out, look at your cigars, put them back in. And I found that to be pretty handy. Also, you can separate them out. Like these are all one series of cigar I got in a package deal. So you can kind of keep those together. So if you want to use that also for organization, it kind of helps that way too. far as the hygrometers go, like I said, I don't trust these. I do trust these round ones that have the red button and the knob on it so you can calibrate them. So about every 2 months I do the salt test on them, and then I recalibrate them to make sure that my humidity is being read accurately. So then the big question really is, what did I finally end up doing to get my humidity right? There's a lot of methods. Like I said, you could use that little tray it came with and literally just fill it with distilled water. That's one thing they actually recommended in the manual. Another thing you could do is use the gel beads, like the Humicare gel beads, which I tried that. It didn't really seem to work. So I had to come up with a humidification that actually was active. It had to be pushing it out and pulling it in. The distilled water just puts out humidity. It never pulls it back. Same with the gel beads. They don't seem to really pull it in, even though I think they're supposed to a little bit. They, for the most part, seem to push it mostly out because they just eventually dry up and they're gone. Or you have to replenish them. And one of the things about this is unlike your refrigerator you keep your food in, this doesn't use like any kind of an antifreeze or a refrigerant fluid, and because that whole process actually pulls moisture out of the air. This is a thermoelectric setup. So what this has is a cooling method that just cools the box down, and then it has a fan that promotes air circulation. But with that fan running all the time, it is pulling out a little bit of the humidity. So it did take me a while to get this stable. So what I ended up doing is I went online, and there's a company online you'll see called Heartfelt Industries, and they make these humidification beads. And what these are is these beads are like almost like silica beads, but they're actually calibrated to be at a certain humidity range. So you can get these from anywhere from 65, 70, and 75% humidity. And what they do is they actively try to stay at that humidity. So as you can see, some of these beads are clear, some of them are white. The clear ones mean they're full of liquid. They're full of distilled water. The white ones are depleted of that. So what's happening is this tray of beads is actively pushing out and pulling in humidity to try to maintain 65%, and that's what I have is 65% ones. So I find they always run a little higher than that, so I wouldn't recommend the 70 or 75. I would recommend the 65. That seems to have really been what works best. Okay, so sorry about the pause there. So the way I ended up doing this is I tried to make it kind of equal, where I've got a tray at the top, I've got a tray back there in the middle, and then I've got a tray in the bottom. And the reason I did that is I figured I would try to have these interspersed throughout the full range of the interior, and with the fan running in the back, I figured that would kind of help push the moisture evenly throughout this thing, and it seems to be working. I mean, if you look, I mean, it's a little off because I've got the door open, but I've been sitting at pretty much anywhere between 68 and 70. So I mean, it's pretty much dead on at this point. It just took a little time to get there. So, but I would say that's kind of the rundown. I would definitely make the investment because there's really no other way to stabilize the temperature. Humidity is easy, temperature's not. I would definitely, if you're going to do this, I would definitely get the bigger model. I would definitely get the adjustable hygrometers. I would definitely go with the Heartfelt Industry beads, and I would do this setup. So the way they tell you to set these up is to use a tray and have them at about a 1/2 inch deep. That's how they work the best. So you're going to see online, you'll probably see tons of methods that people are using to do these, where they put them in pantyhose and they make them like the size of a little potato, or they'll buy other kind of containers to put them in. And I'll actually watch people running tap water over these things to recharge the beads, and that's definitely not how you're supposed to do it. There's actually like a layer of salt on these things that keeps them working properly. So you definitely do not want to just run water over these. You want to just spritz them. And my theory is if you're going to put these into a pantyhose setup where you're going to make them like a little potato, people still dump them into a little tray. So at that rate, just follow what they say on their website and just put them in a tray 1 inch deep. That's also why I have them in 3 trays, because otherwise it would be too full. They need to be only 1 inch deep to be the most effective. So I would just follow that method. And at that rate, so far so good. I mean, it stays stable, it stays cool. I don't have to worry about these rapid and really bad fluctuations in temperature up and down. Everything's staying really stable and nice. So you'll find that your cigars last longer, they store properly, and they smoke better. So anyway, if you have any questions, please ask down below. Feel free to make any comments. If you think I got something right or wrong here, just let me know. And again, SoCal Cigars, Eric. Go ahead and subscribe and like this, and we will see you on the next video. Until then, smoke some nice cigars, and if you've got a Humidor like this, you'll pull out your cigar, and you will know that you're going to smoke one that is ready to go at the right humidity and the right environment to be a good smoke. So enjoy that. We'll see you next time.